Did WWE just drop the ball when it comes to Karrion Kross and Scarlett? With WWE not renewing the contract between Karrion Kross and Scarlett, it leaves everybody kind of wondering what was going on, what happened, and why seemingly the company would basically drop the ball with him.
We want Brock! We want Brock! You want Brock, you've got him.
Kross's contract situation has been talked about for months. Even around WrestleMania season when we had the work shoot promo from Kross, the first video they put up on YouTube that was that documentary style that was recapping those events, the lead up to WrestleMania, it was already there, and you could see week after week following WrestleMania that we were getting a little bit more of Kross, that we were seeing him and Scarlett on TV. They were utilized a little bit more. We had the program with Sami Zayn. We actually got 2 PLE matches of Kross versus Zayn as well, leading, I think, for a lot of fans to feel that, hey, this guy is going to get on TV, he's getting a program, he's getting matches, we'll actually see the company using him and that they are maybe listening to the fans. Now I don't know what to believe anymore. And as we'll talk about in this video, is it a work? Is it a shoot? Is it a real life situation that Kross and WWE are going to be able to put together and try to put one over on the fans? It wouldn't be the first time, and it won't be the last time. But based on what we know, Kross and Scarlett both were moved to the alumni section for WWE. Their contracts expired. According to Kross in the documentary he posted on his YouTube channel, talking about how the negotiations, the talks didn't really amount to anything. But then you get to social media. Now Matt here, he's not on the Twitter, the X. I don't go there. But from all the rumblings online, it's trending. It was trending, and not the first time this has happened. For a company that likes to tout publicly anyways, that they're listening to the fans, that Triple H will go on interviews and Unreal and everything and talk about how we do it for the fans, we listen to them, it's the live crowd response, it's the reaction, that's what we listen to, and that's why we might pivot or move certain superstars and creative decisions, because it's what the fans want. They don't always do that, and this is one of those situations that becomes puzzling, because from the fan response online, and from it trending online saying hashtag we want Kross, wouldn't that have told WWE and the higher ups that this is a guy that the fans want? Or is it too niche? Is it just the IWC? Is it just the internet itself getting up in arms that one of the superstars that they've been cheering for is not being pushed enough in their eyes, and that WWE from their corporate side, from Triple H's side and creative, that they don't see it, or maybe they don't want to see it. But look at Wrong Killings, for example. R-Truth was released legitimately. The crowd went crazy. WWE superstars went crazy for it, in shock, couldn't understand it, and then R-Truth made a return to WWE in surprising fashion, got involved with John Cena. He cut off his hair. We had Wrong Killings for a week, I think, and then slowly just petered out into the background. And the groundswell for Truth was big enough that it seemed like WWE, TKO, listened and they wanted a change. Look at Cody. When The Rock came in, when the final boss came in for WrestleMania season, changed everything after Cody won the Royal Rumble. And we had We Want Cody. And everybody was feeling that Cody got screwed in real life, got screwed over because of The Rock. So WWE seemingly, you never know the truth fully, but that they pivoted and that they changed the plans as best they could, because they had to get the final boss in there and had to get all his shenanigans in. And while the Karrion Kross situation is different, there are similarities there for how WWE has treated and dealt with talent in the past in these contract situations, and more specifically when the fans are seemingly behind somebody and yet they're not doing anything with them, and then they continue to not do anything with them. Now, Kross has posted that he's taking indie bookings. They've said goodbyes and social media posts. If you look at Sami Zayn, he's been on Raw and SmackDown this past week and completely just moved into a new feud. No mention of Karrion Kross, what he just came out of with him at SummerSlam. All of that just dropped. Sami Zayn fighting the MFTs over there on SmackDown and Solo Sikoa, and then showing up on Raw as well. And Sami's character wanting to go for the World Heavyweight Championship. I really don't quite understand it. When you have somebody with a lot of groundswell popularity, the fans are really trying to get behind, and it seems like the machine is not wanting that to happen. And Kross himself in his YouTube documentary, the part 2 version of it, even mentioned that it seemed like from his perspective that WWE, certain people didn't want him to acknowledge the fan reactions. They didn't want him to get over. And this sounds familiar to things we've seen in the past from the company. And I'm talking years upon years ago, specifically CM Punk. I'm wearing a Punk shirt, that's funny. But Punk, back in the day, was getting over, became World Heavyweight Champion, and then quickly got destroyed by Randy Orton and lost the title. But a lot of hurdles, a lot of missteps, a lot of groundswell from fans wanting that to be the guy, and the company not really getting behind him. Bryan Danielson is also a great example of this. The company very clearly and obviously not wanting him to be the guy, them not wanting to put matches and money and support behind him, and the crowd getting to a point where it was a fever pitch and really pushing that this was our guy. To then WWE to put it into a story, we get WrestleMania 30 and off it goes. I think throughout history for wrestling, for WWE's history, I think that there are all of these cases. They do pop up from time to time. The interesting part is the company not wanting to capitalize on this, knowing that these things have happened before, and it's a great opportunity to make a star, to accelerate a star even higher on the card, to put momentum behind them, and to see where it can go. Somebody like Kross, who has led the charts when it comes to merchandise sales. He has great engagement with the fans, both him and Scarlett. They come off as genuine and real, and they can really get the fans behind them. Even as he's positioned as a bad guy, it'd be amazing to see what he would do if he was positioned as a good guy. Now, if it's legitimate, and this isn't a work, because it's wrestling, and there is the possibility of that, and you know what? If it ends up being a total work and Kross is on TV in a couple of weeks again on WWE on Raw, I'll be so happy and I'll be glad that I got worked, because that's the fun of it all. Much like Seth Rollins with the knee injury. Was it a work? Was it a shoot? Is he really hurt? Is he not? That's the fun of it. And then he shows up on TV and we all got swerved. So I hope that it's a blending hybrid of reality and a little bit of everybody working us. If it's not a work, Kross has the potential now to go out on his own and get even more groundswell support from the audience globally. If he wants to, if he's striving for that, you could see that now is the time that he could get that momentum and he could have a whole run out on the indies or with other promotions. And reminds me more of like Drew McIntyre when he got released. And then fans were questioning, and Drew was not in any good spot at the time when he was originally released with 3MB and all that. Drew was way, way down. But he reinvented himself and he came back. We know Matt Cardona is an amazing example on the indies for running the indie scene at a high level and being very successful at it. And Cody, similar again. Cody Rhodes leaving as Stardust and went out on his own. So there are examples. They're few and far between to be that high of a success rate, but it is possible that Kross goes out and carves his own path to become very successful elsewhere or across multiple promotions, and WWE bringing him back again. The timing of his documentary is also fascinating to me because he did it over the course of a week, and even towards the end of it, it was talking about the most recent events. So it was a documentary vlog style series all into one. I loved it personally, just as somebody who's on YouTube and just likes content. I really did like how it was all, number one, produced, put together, but the timing of it, it was all relevant up to the very end, and it being released right before Monday Night Raw to maximize the exposure, to maximize the audience, the viewership, the engagement, and all the news surrounding his contract. So I think it's a brilliant move by him. Him and Scarlett definitely know how to market themselves. And if it's not a work, then they could end up in AEW. He's away from WWE and it's not going to happen. AEW, in my opinion, would be foolish not to scoop them up and to capitalize, more importantly, capitalize on this. An underdog story. AEW for me right now, especially with WWE doing things like putting on PLEs at the exact same time that AEW has their pay-per-views, you're positioning AEW itself as very much an underdog. And if you added an act like Scarlett and Kross right now, underdogs, ones that are favored by the fans, by the online audience, you get more groundswell, and I think you put the company in an even healthier position. And that's just my take. As long as he's utilized correctly and the booking is good and the stories are excellent. But what if it's a little bit of a hybrid, like I said? Kross's contract runs out. He talked openly how negotiations weren't really there, how it wasn't really in his favor, that he wasn't even being really spoken to about it, and that the contract just ran out and WWE just didn't pick it up, which is what they've been doing recently with the majority of the contracts that tend to expire. Less of the you are released or you're fired, and more of the we're just not renewing it. It doesn't mean that they won't come back. It could also be a little bit of a weird test from WWE, which is an odd thing, but a weird way of looking at, let's see how the groundswell, how the support goes if you are officially released from the company and you don't have us anymore, the big machine behind you. Will it continue or will it get played down. There's reports and rumors that on Monday Night Raw, signs were being confiscated that were for Kross, but I watched Raw, at least for me, I didn't hear on TV anyways, a lot of Karrion Kross chants. But when he goes and he does interviews, live events, meet and greets with fans, all of that, there's a lot of promotion, there's a lot of yelling and chanting for Kross. Unless you're Triple H and you think that it's Brock Lesnar they're chanting.
You want Brock, you've got him.
But if it is a hybrid of a work shoot, could they end up being off TV, released legitimately, and the company is just looking to see how it all performs from there? Does he produce more content online himself where it gets even more exposure, more viewership, more engagement? Does the online engagement stay week after week after week? Does it get louder? Do fans get louder about this, that WWE's made a big mistake? And once again, we've gone through this already with Kross, where he came back, and then even post-Mania, after his work shoot promo with WWE, they wanted more. Seemed like they were getting more, then it just kind of tapered off. And how many more times is this going to happen with superstars over the years? And it seems very odd for somebody like Triple H, who's been a wrestler, who's gone through it all and seen it all, where he himself has had characters in his early career, Jean-Paul Levesque, and having to adapt and change, and also have situations that he has said and others where he was going to win King of the Ring and get a big push. And then we had the curtain call, and then he didn't, and then he got punished by Vince and having to work his way back up. He himself has been there, and you can see guys like Austin, a guy who was the ringmaster, and then you have the ringmaster turn into Stone Cold Steve Austin. And I'm not saying that Karrion Kross is the next Stone Cold, although Paul Heyman on the Ariel Helwani show did kind of allude to that there's a lot of potential there with Karrion Kross. How do you not look at an organic reaction from your fan base and realize this is something we need to pay attention to? Because you'll say that you'll listen to us and you push Jey Uso to the moon, you give him the world title because seemingly the fan reaction at live shows is amazing. Karrion Kross does not have a yeet chant. Maybe that's the whole problem here. So maybe with him being released and Scarlett being released, maybe it's a wait and see approach for them, for the company. For me as a longtime fan, as a lifelong fan, I personally really like the organic stories. When the human being, when the person gets over with the crowd, not the machine saying, these are our people, chant for them. Roman Reigns is a great example. Vince pushed Roman for years, pushed him down our throats. People didn't like that. He still kept doing it. We look elsewhere and we find other people on TV and characters and people that really click for us. Daniel Bryan, CM Punk, or people just go to look at other promotions and they go, I just don't want to watch this anymore, and I'll just go watch AEW, and that's cool too. So as a fan, I really do enjoy those characters in those moments when it's the fans doing the pushing and doing the talking almost, and then the company turns around and realizes that, hey, this is somebody we can make money with, we can promote, we can put in interesting stories, and we can also utilize this current real life situation and maybe maximize it on TV and blur the lines. Because for wrestling and for me, that's the most interesting, most compelling stuff, is when the lines are blurred and the story is captivating and intriguing in a more realistic scenario and situation. Do you think Karrion Kross and Scarlett are truly gone from WWE forever? Is it all part of the plan? I'd love to know your thoughts, and if you guys enjoyed this video, subscribe to the channel and click this video for more WWE content. Have a great day. See ya.